Welcome to the Bookbibuli podcast. And today we are discussing The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. He is a brilliant math professor with a peculiar problem. Ever since a traumatic head injury, he has lived with only 80 minutes of short-term memory. She is an astute young housekeeper with a 10-year-old son who is hired to care for him. And every morning, as the professor and the housekeeper are introduced to each other anew, a strange and beautiful relationship blossoms between them. It's an enchanting story about what it means to live in the present and about the curious equations that can create a family. And to explore these equations, we have Shreyas with us today. Hello, Shreyas.
Hello everyone. My name is Shreyas. I go to Sanskriti school in New Delhi. I am a student of grade 7. I love reading, painting, and playing music.
Wow, that's great. I can't paint to save my life. But let's take a plunge into the world of the professor and talk about the unique structure of the book, where the professor's memory only lasts for 80 minutes. How do you think it affects the narrative and the characters' interactions?
The unique structure of the housekeeper and the professor is built around the professor's memory impairment, which only allows him to retain memories for 80 minutes. This condition was caused by a car accident and is a form of amnesia. Despite this limitation, the novel beautifully explores the depth of human connection and the impact of mathematics on memory.
I totally agree with you. Apart from the very few human characters, there's another player on the stage, mathematics. What did you think about the character of mathematics? I mean, the use of mathematics and mathematical concepts as a central motive. What role does maths play in the character development and the overall narrative?
The professor's memory resets every 80 minutes, so each time he meets the housekeeper, he has no recollection of her or their previous interactions. This creates a somewhat challenging dynamic as the housekeeper must reintroduce herself to the professor constantly. Despite his memory struggles, the professor's love for mathematics remains constant. His brilliance in mathematics is evident as he often relies upon mathematical concepts to make sense of the world. The beauty of numbers becomes a thread that ties the characters together, providing a sense of continuity in their relation.
Yes, that is so true. Shreyas, we at Bookbibuli have just launched our curated reading program, and we were talking about it a few days ago, which is for guided reading. And I was wondering, what are your thoughts on that?
Bookbibuli's guided reading is an instructional approach designed to support students in developing effective reading skills and comprehension. Readers are encouraged to actively engage with the text, analyze its content, and develop a deeper understanding of various reading elements such as vocabulary, syntax, and context. Guided reading allows for personalized attention, enabling curators to address individual strengths and weaknesses, fostering a supportive environment for skill development. By providing this targeted and differentiated instructions, guided reading helps readers become more confident and proficient at reading, ultimately enhancing their overall literacy skills.
Thanks, Shreyas. You have summed up the curated reading program so proficiently. Thank you. Back to the book. So we have this central theme of memory, anterograde amnesia, I believe, and its fragility in the story. Tell us about the professor's conditions impact on his housekeeper and her son and their relationship.
Despite his condition, the novel beautifully explores the depth of human connection and the impact of mathematics on memory. The professor's memory resets every 80 minutes, so each time he meets the housekeeper, he has no recollection of her or their previous interactions.
What I found most interesting was the normalcy that these three people find in an extraordinary situations. But about the importance of maths, Euler's identity in the novel. I kept trying to figure it out, and I don't think I was able to. But could you tell us how does it symbolize the interconnectedness of the characters?
Euler's identity is often celebrated for its simplicity and beauty, encapsulating several fundamental mathematical constants e, iota, and pi in a single elegant equation. In the novel, the professor introduces the housekeeper to Euler's identity, emphasizing the beauty and harmony that can be found in the world of mathematics. This equation becomes a symbol of elegance, aesthetic appeal, and interconnectedness of the characters. Euler's identity is a constant in the professor's world, a timeless truth that persists even if his memory resets every 80 minutes. It serves as a metaphor for the enduring nature of certain aspects of knowledge and connection that transcend the constraints of time. By exploring the beauty of Euler's identity, the novel suggests that some truths in mathematics, like the enduring connection between the characters, remain constant, undiminished by the passage of time.
Okay, I do know that Euler's identity is supposed to be the most elegant equation in the world, and now you've helped me figure out why. This book, however, takes up two different bonding points. One is, of course, maths, which we've talked about. The second is baseball, particularly as it relates to the professor's memory and his connection with the housekeeper's son. It kind of changes the whole thing, right? Tell us a little about that.
The importance of baseball is the bonding point of Root and the professor. And so, even though all the players that the professor knew had retired, both of them still enjoyed the game.
The theme of beauty and elegance in mathematics are paralleled in the characters' lives and experiences. This book conveys the idea that mathematics can be a language of love and connection. It actually challenges the stereotype that maths is dry and impersonal. Would you throw a little light on that?
The housekeeper and the professor is a touching story, turning the idea of mathematics being a rigid study of symbols to a field in which each number has its own personality. An example of this in the book is abundant and deficient numbers. And it makes us look at mathematics as a field that we do not have to fear, but embrace and enjoy.
Why, that's absolutely lovely. Well, how successful do you think The Housekeeper and the Professor is as a book? And would you recommend it to others? Who do you think would be the ideal readers of this book?
This is one of the best books I've ever read and would definitely rate it a 10 on 10. I would suggest this book to all ages 9 and above.
Well, thank you so much, Shreyas. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me on the podcast, and I hope many readers can enjoy this book. Thank you.
Though he cannot hold memories for long, his brain is like a tape that begins to erase itself every 80 minutes. The professor's mind is still alive with elegant equations from the past. And the numbers, in all of their articulate order, reveal a sheltering and poetic world to both the housekeeper and her young son. The professor is capable of discovering connections between the simplest of quantities, like the shoe size the universe at large, and this draws them all together even as his memory slips away. And now it's time for Bookbibuli Read Record. This book is short and easy to read. However, you may feel at times that something has been lost in translation. As Shreyas mentioned, this book can be read by anyone above 9 years of age. However, some principles of mathematics may require adult intervention. It's a delicate book with a slow pace. This book is meant to be savored, not devoured. The takeaway from this book is simplicity, empathy, and love for mathematics. The portion where the professor simply stares out in space because he is thinking really appealed to me. The reading road to the book would have The Number Devil, Miscalculations of the Lightning Girl, and Phantom Toll Booth. And successor to this book is The Memory Police by the same author. Until next week, better read, read better.